the Oreo.
Can we talk about the suburban black girl to baby mama in the hood pipeline?
As a dark-skinned black girl who grew up in suburbia, it's really not that complicated. White people bullied me every day, specifically white boys. They would make fun of my skin, they would make fun of my hair, they would make fun of my clothes. You know, I used to wear all black clothes. I have on baby fat, apple bottom. I was really dressed to the nines had I been in a black school. They would steal my things. They would call me gorillas, monkeys, and niggas. And this would happen virtually every day. Do you think any black boy ever came to my defense? No, because he's enjoying boyhood. Offending a black girl would mean betraying boyhood. Boyhood was more important to black boys than blackness, at least in suburbia. So you have all of these black boys who look just like you, who won't talk to you, who won't deal with you, because who won't approve of it? The other white boy.
Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. You can support uncensored conversations via Cash App or buying your girl a coffee. Hey y'all, I just wanted to pop in and briefly talk, I hope it's gonna be briefly talk about this whole concept of the suburban black girl getting with the hood ninja. Now, I have my own speculation as to why this is, but we are gonna listen to this sister and her perspective on why suburban black girls tend to end up with hood ninjas. Now, I've already kind of watched some of this and there's so much deflection here. There's so much to unpack. But one thing that I want us to keep in mind as we're watching this is people's perspective on things can vastly alter what really happened. So how someone experiences an event, depending on their own psyche and their own biases and how they interpret information, can greatly determine how they recount what happened to them, how they recount events. So just keep that in mind as you're listening to this. Hell, keep that in mind as you're listening to literally anything, even things that I'm saying. Make sure that you keep in mind that people's perspective, meaning how they view things that's happened to them, can greatly change based on their own biases. So it might not even be that it's true, that's truly what happened, but rather that's how they felt. That's what they felt happen. So just keep that in mind. And I'm not saying that to discount what she's saying, but to just keep that in the back of your mind so that you're not running off with the narrative and then ultimately making a misguided decision or coming to a misguided conclusion.
Can we talk about the suburban black girl to baby mama in the hood pipeline?
As a dark-skinned black girl who grew up in suburbia, it's really not that complicated. White people bullied me every day, specifically white boys. They would make fun of my skin, they would make fun of my hair, they would make fun of my clothes. You know, I used to wear all black clothes. I have on baby fat, apple bottom. I was really dressed to the nines had I been in a black school.
Kids make fun of each other all the time for whatever trait. It doesn't matter what you look like. Kids are going to make fun of you. Like, that's part of going to school. Now, yes, some people take it to the next level, but being made fun of, I'm sorry, but that's just what happens at school. That is part of the process of being in a public school or even a private school or just being in school in general, because kids, they're edgy kids and they just make fun of each other. And I mean, even as adults, we sit around and we make fun of each other. So when it comes to this whole bullying thing, I do think that there is a line and it shouldn't be crossed, obviously. But when it comes to people making fun of each other, look, that is just a human function. The same people that want to complain about others making fun of them, for the love of everything that is sacred and holy, please don't get on here trying to make it seem like you've never made fun of anybody ever in your life, that you've never poked fun at somebody's appearance, that you've never poked fun of somebody's race. You know, especially when it comes to this woe is me, when it comes to black people and people telling jokes about black people. I'm like, you know how many jokes black people have about white people? Are we really gonna go there? Oh, well, they're punching up. So why are you even positioning yourself as lower than a white person? Like, why are you even positioning yourself as that? Saying, well, they're punching down when they're talking about us. No, we're all punching from side to side. Stop putting yourself at a lower position, because guess what? You will operate and behave like you are in a lower position. Stop putting these white folks on a pedestal, saying that they're punching down at you, and just acknowledge the fact that everybody makes fun of everybody. I've heard it all. I've heard white jokes. I've heard black jokes. Look, I've made white jokes. I've made black jokes. It is what it is. Now, yes, some jokes are racially insensitive, but look, a lot of the jokes that we make about white people are racially insensitive too. My whole thing has always been this: if people are talking, just talk better I'm sorry. They were making fun of you. You should have been making fun of them right back. Or if you're one of the sensitive types and you just don't have it in you, then you should just tell an adult. You should reach out to an adult and have them move you to a different class or whatever the case may be. Tell your parents. But sitting on here and doing they were making, because I was black. I'm sure those white boys was making fun of each other too, because everybody makes fun of everybody when they're in school. Let's not play this game of pretending like we're just so pure that we don't talk like everybody does. And especially as kids, more times than not, kids are making fun of everybody. They're making fun of each other. That's part of the process of being in a school setting.
They would call me gorillas, monkeys, and niggas. And this would happen virtually every day. Do you think any black boy ever came to my defense? No, because he's enjoying boyhood. Offending a black girl would mean betraying boyhood. Boyhood was more important to black boys than blackness.
This is another thing that I can't stand that these broads do this. They always want to put black men, black boys down. It's like they just can't deal with their own problems. They always have to project it. Oh, the black boys did this. Were the black boys the ones making fun of you? You're not saying that they were. You're just saying, well, they didn't defend me. How are you behaving? See, this is why I don't give a blank check for people to be victims, because I'm going to ask the real questions. Who are you? Who were you as a kid? Because look, I'm going to be honest with y'all. There were some people that I went to school with that were just absolutely deplorable, just terrible people, and they got made fun of. And guess what? Nobody cared because they were so rude and disrespectful to everybody. They walked around with a stank attitude, were just insufferable, and people made fun of them. People are talking crazy about you because you are a crazy individual, just rude for no reason. I'm not saying that definitively that she was probably a terrible person. Like, I don't know this woman. I don't know who she was in school, but that's what I'm saying. Perspective, it changes based on who's the one perceiving it. If she was insufferable and those black boys didn't want to stand up for her, it's not because you're black, it's because you're insufferable. There's too many missing pieces for me to just give you a blank check to be a victim. Absolutely not.
So you have all of these black boys who look just like you, who won't talk to you, who won't deal with you, because who won't approve of it? The other white boys. I had a black boy ask me to the school dance, and the other boys bullied him so bad for asking me that he unasked me. Now I have all these black boys who look just like me, same skin complexion, if not darker, who will only talk to white girls, white adjacent girls, or biracial girls. And so a black girl who looks like me only learned to do one or two things. Assimilate. You're going to assimilate. You're going to get wigs. You're going to change your voice. You're going to change your clothes. You're going to do whatever it is you can do to be accepted so you won't be ostracized, bullied, and shamed every day just for being black.
And see, this is where the parents are at fault. Why are you not instilling in your dark-skinned, unambiguous daughters that their skin tone, their complexion, their facial features, their hair, the things that make them who they are, why aren't you instilling in them to love that regardless of what other people are saying or what they're perceiving others to say? Because I will tell you this, there are some people out there, because they have low self-esteem, they will assume how people feel about them. And then they'll perceive everything that is said to them through that lens. So this could be a case of that. I'm not 100% sure. Like I said, I wasn't there. But these are things to consider when you're taking in information like this, because this is just trauma bonding for people that felt like they were wronged as a child because of their skin tone. A lot of the times it's just one big circle jerk, and people will say, oh, well, you're just being dismissive to their experiences. No, I'm asking the question so you can unpack what really happened. I do believe that not everything is a product of, well, because I'm dark, because there are plenty of dark-skinned women that didn't have these problems when they were going to school because they were pleasant and nice to be around. Like, even in my school, like, being dark-skinned wasn't a death sentence. There were plenty of dark-skinned girls that were part of the popular crowd, but guess what? They were not insufferable. They weren't weirdos. They weren't perpetual victims. They were just regular kids living their lives. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but I'm just saying, like, really think about these things when you're taking in media like this. You're blaming everything on being dark-skinned, unambiguous, and saying that we want to assimilate, so we did this and we did that. Did you really have to? And why didn't your parents step in? Why didn't your parents step in? See, this is what I'm talking about when it comes to these parents. They are hands-off parents. Because if I see my child trying to look like somebody else, I am stepping in. If my daughter is actively trying to look like someone else, that is going to be a cry for help in my eyes. That means that I need to intervene as a parent, not to discipline, but to find out, baby, what's going on? Why don't you want to look like yourself? You are so beautiful. But see, hands-off parents, they just allow their kids to be willy-nilly. They just be like, oh, okay, well, they're doing this. Oh, you need some money for this? Oh, just get this. And they just want you out their face as quick as possible, rather than actually taking a look at their child and being like, why does my child not want to look like herself? And then we wonder why this state of perpetual victimhood, then we wonder why this low self-esteem exists. It's because of the parents. The parents did not parent. They were hands-off parents.
Everybody wants a black girl, except in the hood, you're a hot commodity. Because ain't no black girls in the hood that walk like you, that talk like you, that dress like you. Now you got endless options. Same reason that fat white girls end up with a hood nigga, the same reason why suburban black girls end up with one. And that's why I say it always comes down to socialization, because that socialization period is brutal. It's not neutral. It's not people introducing you to concepts that you should follow. It's people enforcing them upon you. And if you don't, you are shamed. You are victimized. And it's all done by boys to girls. And the boys never speak up because they have pack mentality. We want to talk about the suburban black girl to hood baby mama pipeline. Let's talk about the suburban black boy to white wife pipeline.
And see, this is a common deflection that these broads will make. Oh my God, they always get with a white woman. Oh my God, you look like you date only white girls. Here's the thing. Interracial marriage is such a low percentage. Black men, for the most part, are marrying black women. There's only a few that marry outside the race. And here's the other thing. We want to get out here and say, well, they want the white woman. They want the white woman. Well, how are you behaving? I mean, I just filmed a video about this whole young hoe trend. When you have young black girls referring to themselves as young hoes and behaving so carelessly and just insufferable and just the worst possible qualities that you would not associate with somebody that you would want to marry, that you would want to have children with. When they are embodying everything that is terrible and degenerate, why on earth would any man that is worth a damn want to wife up and be with somebody like that? See, black women, we have a PR issue just as bad as black men do. Black men are seen as violent. We're seen as Jezebels, careless Jezebels, $5 whores, because that's how we carry ourselves. That's what we prop up. Y'all sit over here and praise Cardi B, Young Miami. Y'all sit over here and praise a bunch of low-class behavior, call yourselves bad bees, call yourselves everything but a woman or a lady. And then you wonder why respectable men don't want to be with you. And I'm not talking specifically about this woman, right? Like, I don't know if she's out here calling herself these things. I'm speaking in general. You can't be mad if men are stepping outside the race, even when they do it in small numbers. When you yourself are not presenting yourself in a respectable way, you're not presenting yourself in a way that a respectable man would even want to deal with. You can't carry yourself in a low-class manner and then expect a high-value man to want to be with you and expect a respectable man to want to be with you. It doesn't work that way. The darker skinned black women that look put together, that take care of themselves, they're not on these stupid, tacky trends. I really don't see them out here complaining about these things. I really don't. So maybe it's not the dark skin, maybe it's not the unambiguous features, maybe it's something else. Maybe you're attracting what you are. Maybe people who are worth a damn are repulsed by you. And it's not because of your phenotype, but rather how you carry yourself. It's just food for thought. Now, I do want to delve into my theory of why the suburban black woman usually ends up with the hood ninja. And the reason why is because we have this term, the Oreo. We want to associate any black woman or black man, but specifically we're talking about black women. We want to associate any black woman that speaks properly with behaving like they're white. So whenever you call anything respectable, anything that is high class, when you refer to that as acting white, then you trigger an identity crisis in black people that are proper, they speak properly, they're educated. You trigger an identity crisis with them because they want to affirm and connect with their culture. That's what most people do. We have a tendency to want to embrace our culture, which there's nothing wrong with that. Inherently, there's nothing wrong with that. But when your culture is wrapped up in so much dysfunction and your culture puts the dysfunction as the face of the culture, then yes, you will have respectable black women and men, but we're talking about the women, you will have them where they come from a good background. They're proper. They speak properly. They dress properly. They do this, they do that. But all these things are associated with whiteness in an effort to reclaim their blackness, in an effort to prove to other black people, to prove to the degenerate black people that behave in that degenerate culture, they keep calling them an Oreo, in order to kowtow to that, what they'll do is they'll overcompensate and try to put on. That's how you end up with the Sky Jacksons getting pregnant by a Pookie. A complete Pookie. That woman had her life ahead of her. She's so beautiful, very, articulate. She was a Disney child. Literally could have had any man she wanted. And she chose a Pookie. Why? They do this so that they feel more black. Just like we talked about with the whole do-rag man. You had that biracial girl. She's trying to connect with her blackness, so she makes do-rag man. It's all in an effort to align themselves with the most degenerate parts of our culture because they feel like blackness is derived from that. They can't see their blackness in speaking properly. They can't see their blackness in being a respectable human being. No, I have to align myself with degeneracy. I have to align myself with hood culture. So that's why you will find a lot of these suburban black women ending up with the Pookies and the Ray Rays. That's how they connect to the culture.
Because that one is just as common. You got all these black boys in suburban neighborhoods who are being socialized to hate black women, who hate themselves, to hate their own skin, who produce with people who don't look like them so the kids don't look like them. These things are not separate. They are the causality of raising black people around white people.
Oh my God, this incessant need to blame white people for everything will be the death of us, because when you are able to put the blame on everybody else, guess what that keeps you from doing? Self-reflecting. And that's the major problem that we have. We don't self-reflect. We just say, oh, white people did it. It's the man. That's what they used to say, the older people. It's the man. But really, there's a lot that we have control over, but we don't exercise that control. We don't exercise that discipline. So instead, we'll just blame the white man. And I can't stand that. Hearing all of this, I'm sorry, but she's coming across as somebody that's not accountable. She's coming across as a perpetual victim. And these characteristics are not appealing in an individual. They're just not. I'm sorry. Who wants to be around somebody that's perpetually a victim? Who wants to be around somebody that's constantly blaming their problems on other people? No one wants to be around somebody that is so unaccountable. Nobody. It's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Were you insufferable and then people didn't want to be around you? Or were people not wanting to be around you and then you become insufferable? I tend to believe the former. Being insufferable and then people don't want to be around you and then you want to cry victim. Oh. People will be the most annoying person on the planet and then get mad because nobody want to be around them. Like, make it make sense.
And the cost is extreme. The cost is internalized self-hate, internalized racism. There's a reason why you never see the black boys from the suburbs with the hood girls, because they have the luxury of putting their manhood before their blackness. Black women do not have that luxury. They're always going to be at the bottom of that total pole. Every black boy I went to school with is married to a white girl, and every black girl is a hood baby mama.
See, it's the lack of accountability for me. These black girls that grew up in suburbia, we're not going to acknowledge the fact that they chose to be hood baby mamas. We're not going to acknowledge that. We're just going to say that they're the victim of their situation and this is just what happened to them, as if they didn't make a choice. They made a choice to be a hood baby mama. They did. We're not going to scapegoat that accountability onto somebody else. Absolutely not. No, we not. This whole conversation is absolutely sad to me because this is the very reason why black people will perpetually be at the bottom. Not because we're just arbitrarily placed there, but no, we continue to keep ourselves there by not being accountable, by not bootstrapping. Like, people really want to act like the whole concept of bootstrapping is just so racist, but really it's just the epitome of hard work and dedication, putting in the work to get what you want, not giving up when you meet adversity. If you want to build something that's worth a damn, understand so many doors doors are going to close in your face. If you are one of these perpetually victimized Black people, please listen to these mega rich, started from nothing white people. Listen to their stories, because what you'll find is that they had a lot of doors slammed in their face. More times than not, if they were not heirs to a legacy already, they had people tell them no over and over and over again. But you want to know what they did that a lot of Black people don't do? They didn't give up. They were steadfast in what they wanted to do. So guess what they got? They got outcomes. But see, what we'll do is we'll try something. We'll half-ass try something. And when it doesn't work out, we'll say the system wants to keep us down. See, if I were white, that's not the problem. The problem is giving up too soon. The road to success is paved by a bunch of failures. Each failure is a step towards success. But we as Black people don't see it like that. We just assume that white people just get everything super easy because that's the propaganda that was forced to us. Hard work leads the way. And being unaccountable is just a fast ticket to nowhere. Then we'll blame white people for why we bought the ticket. It's sad. I really do want us to get this under control. I want better for us, but we're not gonna get better until we raise our standards for ourselves, until we start being accountable, until we start making better choices. But see, this whole situation, and I know this extends outside of the conversation that she's having, this whole situation just highlights that lack of accountability and that perpetual victimhood. Rather than looking at these women that are choosing, even though they have the world ahead of them, are choosing to be hood baby mamas, rather than looking at that and being like, hey, why are they making these decisions? And how can we get them to stop making these decisions based on things they can do for themselves? Not saying that the world needs to change to make sure that they don't do this to themselves, but rather make sure that they have the mindset that they don't put themselves in that situation. Because the world is gonna be whatever the world is. You can't sit over here and say, well, the world made me do it. The Black boys that didn't want to be with me in the school made me do it. Oh, this, that, and the third made me. No, you did it to yourself. You did it to yourself. This whole video was deflecting the accountability for why Black women with their lives ahead of them throw it away to be with some hood ninja. It's not their fault. See, this happened and that happened. Oh my God. They just couldn't help. They could help to close their legs and not deal with Pookie and Ray Ray. It is absolutely a choice. And I will stand firm on that. But y'all, I am curious to hear you guys' thoughts down below. How do you feel about this whole situation? Do you agree with me where it's like, yeah, these suburban Black women are choosing, okay, these are their choices. They're choosing to be hood baby mamas because they want to be aligned with Blackness, and they associate being Black with the degenerate culture because that is the face of the culture. And it's no wonder that they end up with hood niggas. It's no wonder that they end up with Pookie and Ray Rays. Or do you disagree with me where it's like, no, it's the white man's fault. If only the white man wasn't a white man, then these suburban Black girls would be with suburban Black boys and they would ride off into the sunset and live happily ever after. But no, they can't do it because of white people. I am curious to hear you guys' thoughts down below. If you like the video, The more you interact with it, the more it gets pushed out to the algorithm. Also, hype the video if that function is available. If you're feeling a little extra generous, the link is in the description to buy your girl a coffee. Thank you guys so much, and I will see y'all with the next one. Deuces.